SAP finished the hard part. Joule, its assistant, built into its apps, is live. Close to 300 capabilities shipped. Its own customers counted who's running it. SAP publishes a list of every Joule capability it ships. I counted it in August 2026. Close to 300 entries. All but 3 of them are generally available, finished, not an early access pilot. Look at what the recent ones actually do. Added business partners, availability check, renewing central purchase contracts. Useful and narrow. That's Joule doing paperwork faster, not the self-running enterprise from the keynote. The names from the keynote are all future tense. That's the roadmap half. Joule work on the desktop, general availability. Planned for the second half of 2026. SAP announced it with a forward-looking statement attached, a warning that actual results and outcomes could materially differ. A month ago I said I'd answer this. I couldn't, the documents only landed this month. My linked video covers what Joule and Joule agents are. Today is the reality check. What's live is real and narrow. What's big is still a plan. Ask who's actually running it and you get 3 explanations. The deployment, the price, and Copilot. I'll hold each against SAP's own documents. One of them doesn't survive, the other 2 aren't what you think. If that's your kind of thing, subscribe. In December and January, the independent SAP user group for Germany, Austria, and Switzerland surveyed 198 member companies. 43% had already implemented AI use cases. That's the group that matters. You can't stall before production if you never started. That survey is regional. The documents I hold it against are global. And of the companies that had already implemented AI use cases, 77% have non-SAP tools in production, and 3% have SAP tools in production. And in that same group, 3% is on the order of 2 or 3 companies. So the number isn't the argument, the shape is. With non-SAP tools, the biggest number is the one in production. With SAP tools, the biggest number is the one still in a proof of concept, 26%. It isn't that nobody wants this. I have my own number to square. In July, I said 34,000 SAP Business AI customers was a lot of production usage. SAP's number, not an audited one, as I said at the time. This count comes from the customers. Explanation 1. My system can't run it. Joule is cloud only, and we are not. That was true, until May. SAP said the majority of Joule assistants and agents would also be available on-premise, on ECC, and on S4HANA. Now listen to the rest of that sentence. It comes with a condition. You have to commit the majority of your landscape to SAP's cloud. It's sold through a commercial package, the Max Success Plan. And general availability was planned for May. Planned. Even then, Joule doesn't move into your ECC system. It stays a cloud service that reaches in. So, has it arrived? I went through all 291 entries, up to the 27th of July. Not one names ECC or on-premise as its product. And the integration guide, dated the 4th of August, lists 22 solutions. There's no on-premise chapter. If you run S4HANA Cloud Private Edition, SAP adds 2 conditions. Joule works only inside RISE with SAP, their contract bundle, and only in a data center that SAP manages. So it isn't where your system stands, it's who runs it. In July, I said this had stopped being a technology question. I didn't have the paperwork then, now there's a date, a clause, and a plan name. Explanation 2. It's too expensive. In SAP's own price list, base Joule is listed at 0 units per request. That's the version answering questions inside your SAP screens. So, too expensive is the wrong sentence. AI units, quickly. Not a license per feature, a pool of virtual currency. What costs money is the part you'd actually roll out. There are 5 Joule premium packages, the priciest at 8 AI units per user per month, falling to 5 at scale. And 8 more agents built by consumption. You spend those units across SAP products. And the mechanics bite. You buy the pool upfront. Unused units expire every 3 months. Overconsumption gets invoiced afterwards. And what you'd roll out is a package. A package isn't a price tag. It's a purchase decision, made by somebody who isn't you. Explanation 3. Everyone just uses Copilot anyway. The non-SAP tools spread because they had no prerequisites. They don't touch your SAP system. You open a browser and type. That's the whole setup. And one thing I've said here still stands. Third-party agents aren't allowed to drive your SAP system on their own, not Copilot. Copilot at your desk and Copilot driving your ERP are two different things. But here's the part I didn't expect. SAP's own guide has a chapter on running Joule inside Microsoft's Copilot. The prerequisite? You already own a Microsoft Copilot license and you've rolled it out. That's not a fight for the desktop. That's SAP putting Joule where the users already are. If you've sat through a Joule activation, where did it stop? Tell me in the comments. That's the part I can't get out of a document. So it isn't the deployment, the price, or Copilot. What's left? First, the fair half. Where somebody has pushed Joule through, it works. 20% higher developer productivity at Bosch Digital. Human resources cycle times down 40 to 60% at the fashion retailer on your screen. Those are SAP's own reported figures, 3 of them. I could not find one independent, audited public case of Joule in production. So here's what stands in the way. Joule isn't part of your ERP. It's an application on SAP's cloud platform that reaches into your system. Somebody has to switch it on inside your platform account. That switch is called an entitlement. Remember that one word. Then there's the friction, documented by an SAP author in SAP's own community. The sync between systems takes up to a week. Pick the wrong identity tenant and there's no fix. You tear it down and start again. And once Joule is on, there's no supported way to restrict it to some users. And SAP says so itself. Their own newsroom this month. Between technical deployment and actual adoption, there's often a gap. Here's my read. None of those steps is hard. They each belong to a different department. Procurement owns the contract. The cloud team owns the platform account. Security owns the identity setup. Finance owns the budget. In a normal company, no single person can say yes to all 4. If you want SAP news, where I actually open the documents, subscribe. Take 3 questions into your next project meeting. 1. Which deployment are we actually on? Public cloud, private cloud, on-premise, ECCD? The Joule answer is different for each. 2. Who runs our data center? Us, a hyperscaler, or SAP? On private cloud, that one question decides it. 3. Is there anybody here with an AI units budget? If that gets a shrug, that's your timeline. All 3 point the same way. Every yes to Joule runs through a deeper commitment to SAP's cloud. That isn't a scandal, it's the business model, written down in public. Joule isn't waiting on technology, it's waiting on a yes. And nothing on SAP's delivery list is waiting for yours.